Hey, what's up people? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Desmond Z. If this is the first time you've ever seen me. So, it is the end of the month. It's the end of the month. It's the first of the month. Wake up, wake up. I'm sorry. It's the end of the month. You already know what time it is. Well, beginning of the month when you will see this. But, you already know what time it is. Time for a wrap up. It's time for a wrap up. So, let's talk about the books that I read in May. I'm going to just give you a warning right now. You think... Let's just go. Let's just get into it. I'll just do a quick little run through of some of the books that I've already talked about this month, and you know, it actually was not that bad. You know, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't a terrible reading month. But did you hear about Kitty Carr? I gave this book what, 4 stars, I believe it was, about a white actress, elderly white actress who dies in 2017, leaves all her money to 3 black sisters who are famous in their own right, and the whole world is like, what's going on? Why the f she leave her money to these black women? To these black women? Why they getting this money? And so we go back in time and find out that Kitty Carr was actually a black woman passing as white, and she had a whole saga. Her whole life was just, it was a movie, literally. Romantic comedy was like the most pleasant surprise. It's about a woman who is a writer on a fictional version of SNL, and she meets the current guest host, who's a pop star, you know, sparks kind of fly, but then they go through this little topsy-turvy little situation, and then they start communicating over email for several months. Dust Child, this was about pretty much what happened during the war, and during the war, this was about the Vietnam War, and the children that were pretty much the product of American soldiers and the women, the Vietnamese women. I'll put the link up here if you want a full review of this book. I talked about this book actually in the same video that I talked about romantic comedy and Kitty Carr and Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. You may have heard about this book. If you have not, you've definitely heard about R.F. Kuang. She wrote Babel and the Poppy War series, which the people love. They love it. They love R.F. Kuang. This book actually has the same plot as the book called The Plot that I read earlier this year, which I actually really enjoyed. A writer steals the plot from another writer and they get, you know, fame from it. Athena is an Asian actress. Athena is an Asian writer, and she's just like a literary darling. She hit after hit, you know, everybody loves her. Athena has plenty of critical acclaim and she has commercial success. You know, a few people are a little jealous of her, and the main one is her frenemy by the name of June Hayward. Now, they hanging out one night and then Athena dies, and that's not a spoiler because it's literally how the book, you know, it's the setup for the book. June sees she has a book of notes and outlines and all that, and so she steals it after, you know, the police come and the body is taken away and all that. She steals it, takes it home, and sees that there is pretty much an outline, the beginning of a book that Athena was working on. She changes her name to give her kind of this mysterious, ambiguous, maybe she's Asian, maybe she's not, who really knows? Because she's writing the book she stole. Obviously, it's about Asian people and the history of Asian people, blase, blase, blase. And throughout this entire book, we deal with June dealing with her conscience, because it's beating her ass. Her conscience is beating her ass because she knows she's wrong for stealing this book, but she's continuously trying to convince herself, you know, I had to tell this story. I couldn't let this story just sit. Someone had to tell this story. Why not me? Just because I'm a white lady, why can't I tell this story? Blase, blase, blase. Meanwhile, lying, pretending that you Asian and all that. Well, I never really said I was Asian, but you changed your name and you did all of these things. And a lot of the commentary, the discourse, all the things that happen in this book will, if you are online and in this community, you've heard these things being talked about in the book community about people writing stories that are not their own, people's, you know, stealing identities or cultural appropriation, and who can write for who, all of these things. Have you ever seen a video where somebody says something outlandish? They just say something off the wall, batshit crazy. You knew it was wrong. You knew it was wrong when you first said it, but they say it anyway. They say it anyway, and then somehow shocked and amazed, that somebody actually calls them out on it. And then once they get called out on it and are being held accountable, but they'll call it bullying. Why are you bullying me when you're being held accountable? You surround yourself with people that are like-minded, that'll tell you, oh no, you did nothing wrong. Oh my God, or everyone makes mistakes. It's okay, we forgive you. Bitch, who are you forgiving? You weren't hurt in this situation. This community was hurt. That's pretty much what is going on in this book. She surrounds herself with people who are like-minded and will play the victim with her. You get all of the things pretty much that in real life. That's what happens in this book. Great job of it. My only issue was we stay inside June's head so much. It's like a stream of consciousness. And it's just, we stay inside her head and we're thinking and like hearing her batshit craziness. I got tired of it in a way, pretty much like in real life. I wanted there to be more dialogue. I wanted her to be talking to other people, maybe a few more arguments with discourse, you know. We were in her head too much and it got like annoying at a certain point, and I was just like, okay. So that brought the rating down for me. It's not a 5-star read for me. And when I first finished it, I was like, oh, that's like a 3.5 read. So it lies between like a 3.5 and a 4, because that was like, we were stuck in her head, and it was like, I need to be talking to other people. I need some dialogue, and that's just a personal preference of mine. Happy Place by Emily Henry. I did not like Happy Place at all. I did not like Happy Place at all. Happy Place was not a happy place for me. I gave this book like 2.5 stars. Basically, it's about a woman and a man. They was engaged, they've been together since college, they broke up, and they've been broke up for 6 months. Every year they tend to go hang out with their college friends at this like cabin or somewhere. And so both of them get invited. And they like, you know, we broke up. We ain't together no more. You ain't mine, I ain't yours. But don't nobody know they broke up. So they go here and they pretend to still be together like some idiots. You grown, baby, you grown. You almost 30. Matter of fact, you is 30. Why you lying? If you broke up, you broke up. What you lying for? So they go here and they like, you know, we still together. We're gonna play this thing cool, blase, blase, blase. It's about the friendship and it's about the breakup. There are 2 timelines, and that was the demise of this book for me. I've said it time and time again. I like dual timelines. I actually do. But they are either hit or miss for me. It's never anywhere in between. It's always going to be one that I like or dislike most of the time. It's very rare that I like them both. With Happy Place, for me, anytime we went back in time, I was like, I don't know what's going on. You're just taking me out of the story. You're taking me out. You're yanking me out of the story. Why are we doing this? Also, this characters just felt like they just pulled them straight out of the library, straight out of the library of characters, and said, oh, I want that one, and give me that one, and give me one of those, and give me 2 of those, and put them here. That's my order. They didn't feel like real people. One of the characters, Cleo, her whole thing is she says no to everything without, like, not everything, but most things. If she wants to say no to it, she'll say no with no explanation. It's a full stop for her. No. Cool. Boundaries. We love them. But that's her whole personality. Her whole personality is like, cool girl, I say no. Yeah. What else is Cleo offering us? What else does Cleo have to offer? I think I really like the end. Once we got to the end and the emotional stakes did kind of like pick up, I did enjoy that part. Yeah, this is my least favorite book by Emily. Beach read is still beach read. Like, who knew? Who knew? Who knew? Chain Gang All Stars. Chain Gang All Stars. I talked about this book in a previous video and completely butchered the name. Like, tore that man's book title up. All Chain Gang Stars. All Chain Gang Stars. All Chain Gang Stars. But Chain Gang All Stars, I actually DNF'd that book and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try again. I should have left it where it was. I should have left it where it was. I made myself finish that book. I made myself finish that book so many times. My brain said DNF, 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 DNF. But I kept going like a dumbass. I kept going like an idiot. I know better. I'm all for DNFing. I am an advocate of the D and the N's and the F's. Do it. There are too many books that you could be spending your time with. And this is not a bad book. I will definitely say that. I don't believe this is a bad book. This is just not the book for me. The way this book is told, it's not my thing. So the book is about the prison system. It's about the prison system, modern day slavery, and racism, all of those things that come with the horrible prison system that we do have. So, and it's set in like a not so distant future. Pretty much the prisoners battle like gladiators for their freedom. You have to battle so many times and then you get to go free or whatever. But the way we hop from character to character to character, it's not just a linear story told from one or two characters. We jump and we get a point of view from this character, point of view from that character. There was a time in the book where I kind of found a sweet spot and I was like, oh, hold on, I think it's clicking. I think it's clicking for me. I think, because you know how I feel when a good click come for me when I've been trying to read. It clicked, but then it unlatched. It wasn't secured. It wasn't secured. It wasn't secured. And then it lost me again, and it never got me back. And I forced myself to finish that book, and I do not know why, because I was pissed off the whole time I was reading. I was like, Desmond, why are you still reading this fucking book? But I kept going. I gave it 2 stars, but that was for my enjoyment. I do think people who will love this book will really love it because it's gotten so many great reviews. If you look on the interwebs, look on the webs, look on the Instagram, on the Goodreads, on the Storygraph, on the Tickety Talk, somewhere else over here on the U and the Tube. I promise you, they loving it. But it just wasn't a me thing. It wasn't for me. Another book that I believe is actually a good book, but this one was Right Book, Wrong Time. And it's called The Thing About Home. We have a social media influencer who is like in her mid-30s. She is known for like her being a beauty guru or whatever. Now, she is renewing her vows with her husband. He leaves her at the altar. He's like, girl, I can't do this no more. I'm tired, sis. I'm tired. I can't be with you no more. I don't want to be with you no more. So, after that happens, she goes on Instagram Live and she just blows up. She's drunk in this wedding dress, wasting wine, margaritas, mustard, whatever. Something is on her dress and she's just going off on people. You don't know me. You don't know my life. And it's like, hold on, girl. Calm down. So, after that, she runs. She gotta run. She gotta get out of there. She gotta leave town. I gotta go. She goes to find her father's family, who she was never really close with because her mom kept her from them. So she goes back to, what is it? Is it North Carolina? South Carolina? I think it's one of the Carolinas. I can't remember. I'll put it on the screen. But she goes somewhere and it's like a small little town and her family like owns a farm and they do all of these things. And she goes there, she gets to know her great grandmother or is it her grandma?
Your grandma, Mr. Baby.
Is it her grandma or her great grandma? I think it's her grandma. Yeah, she gets to know her grandmother and her other family and all that. She meets a man and she kind of falls for him. All this while trying to also rehabilitate her image and maybe make a comeback. Because this is her job. This is her livelihood. I never really got into the story. I never really got in until like the book was almost over. And I was like, this is a book that I actually should really love. This is the kind of story I live for. I live for these kind of stories. But it was not working for me. So I really think this was really right book, wrong time. I should have just let it go and went back to it. But I just kept reading. And I hate when I do that because it really could have been a 4 or 5 star read for me. I'll say 4 star. I won't get too happy and say 5. Oh, also in May, I read The Fitful Sleep of Immigrants, which I talked about in the previous video. And I also mentioned, now anytime I think of this book, anytime I think of The Fitful Sleep of Immigrants, I'm going to think about the entire ordeal that I've been through of getting that physical copy. I told y'all a little while ago, somebody reached out to me. Shout out to Olivia. Shout out to Olivia. She reached out to me a while ago, and because I mentioned The Fifth Sleep of Immigrants and how I wanted to read it, she reached out to me and was like, hey, I saw your video. Would you like a copy of this book? I told y'all about this before. And there was an issue with every mail carrier in this world got together and just wanted to be against me. They rebuked me for some reason because I have not been able to get this book. The Fifth Sleep of Immigrants is about this man. He's a lawyer, and his boyfriend is now facing deportation, so he's trying to fight to help his boyfriend stay in the country. But he's not really an immigration lawyer, but he's like, I'm gonna do the best I can, you know, to save my man. And then he's also working on a different case, and this guy comes in and just like batshit crazy and like real Glenn Close from Fatal Attraction, trying to steal this man from his man and just like, oh no, you're gonna be with me. And there's this whole thing, just throws this man's life into like a tizzy. I gave the book like 3.5 stars. I'm thinking now it's maybe somewhere along the lines of 4. It's like kind of like Yellowface. After I've sat with it a little bit, it's definitely between like 3.5, 4, somewhere in there between there. Somewhere in there between there. Somewhere up in there for me. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. The golden sun. Oh, Mr. Sun. Oh, Mr. Ain't that a Barney song? Oh, Mr. Sun, Sun, Mr. Golden Sun. The author of this book also wrote Patsy, which I read earlier this year. That was earlier this year, right? So many books, and I just get my times mixed up. I read that book, yeah, that was earlier this year. That was actually a 4-star read for me. I really enjoyed that book. I feel like if this book would have been a bit shorter, maybe like 50 pages shorter, maybe if we'd have capped that about like 300, 302 maybe, 302. I give you them 2 pages, 302. I would have loved this book so much more, because I gave this book 3 stars, and there was a spot we hit in the middle when we really got a stride going for me, and I was like, oh, okay, here we go. But then we would veer off, and I felt like we were getting too much story. Like there was a little things here and there. I was like, I don't care about this, I don't care about that, I don't care about this. And I just felt like we just needed to rein it in just a bit. A personal preference of mine. Because definitely with Patsy, that book definitely should have been a bit shorter, and that would have been 5 stars for me. But it was 4 stars, still a great read. Because y'all heard about the people out here getting mad for getting 4-star ratings. They calling people bitches and hoes for giving 4-star ratings. Like
a perfect 5-star average till this bitch came along. So you just gave me 4 stars. Why?
My God. Any hoosers, this book is about, I done ran my mouth and didn't even say what the book is about. This book is about a woman named, what's this woman's name? What her name is? Margot. Margot, I don't even know how old Margot is. I'm assuming she's in her 30s or something, maybe late 20s. Margot is a Jamaican woman, and she works at like these hotels, paradise resorts, whatever, blase. And she sometimes sleep with the boss man to get what she wants. So she's actually in love with this woman named Verdine, I believe. She's in love with this woman named Verdine. They've been seeing each other on the low because Margot's mom is like really homophobic and like, oh, that's that evil in you, girl. That's that evil in you. And it's actually just about like trauma being passed down. Margot's mom was a horrible person, and so she treats her daughters horribly. And the other sister, Tandy is like 14, 15, and they're putting all this pressure on her like, girl, you're gonna be our ticket out. You're gonna be our ticket out. So we need you to get straight A's, pay attention in school, go be a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer or a president of the whole universe, and get us out of here. You are golden ticket. And she feels all this pressure, and she doesn't actually have a voice. It's just go to school, get good grades, and get us out of here. This is the last book. Yeah. What's the name of it? The Mostly True Story of Tanner and Louise. Basically a play or retelling of Thelma and Louise. A young girl who had to leave college. She's like 20, 21.
22. She
had to leave college. She was there on a sports scholarship. She got injured, had to get up out of there. She starts working as like a nurse or a live-in nurse for this elderly lady named Louise, because Louise fell broke her hip, did something, injured herself, did some shit. I don't remember. She injured herself. And so Louise's adult children, they get a family friend who is Tanner's mom. It's like, hey, can we get Tanner to come over here and hang out with mama during the day, you know, live with her, blase, blase, so make sure she don't fall and bust her ass no more because we can't beat her because we got lives of our own, you know? So one night, Louise come in there and she's like, get your ass up, let's go. Gotta get up out of here, we gotta go, we hitting the road. And Tanner's like, what the fuck is going on, girl? What is happening? So they get on the road, they gotta go. Tanner don't even know why they running. She don't even know why they running. But Louise is like, we got to go. And she's like, we're going to California because I got some things to get settled. I'll give you some money and you'll never see me again and you can go live your life. Then on the road, we get into shenanigans, we do all the things, you know. Thelma and Louise like. It was a cool story. It actually was a cool story. I laughed. Louise is the best character. Louise was the best character in this book. I actually laughed a lot at Louise. Tanner, she's alright. She's typical young girl, kind of selfish, only focused on one thing, and that's her and her alone. I feel like I'm doing a horrible job of this book because it was just kind of, it was like a cool little quirky fun book, you know, or whatever. That's all I really got for the mostly true story of Tanner and Louise. That's all I got. That's all I got for it. It was a cool book. I didn't hate it. It was cool. 3.5 stars. Yeah. And that's it. That's it. I feel like I talk so much about the other books. I don't have anything else to say. I don't have nothing else to give. Sometimes I can tell when I'm just really in a mood to record. Sometimes I get a bit overly excited and I have to bring myself down. So when I edit this, I'm gonna be looking back like, yeah, you need to just calm your ass down some. But yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, do so. Let me know down in the comments if you read any of these books. What was your month like? What was the month of May like for you? Because my month of May was not filled with sunshine when it came to reading these books. It was very middle of the road and so many 3 stars. I need more 4 and 5 star reads in my life. I need them. Need it. Yeah, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you in my next one. Bye. Why did I do that?